hold the no.
Hold it on the bottom.
Wait. I'm just playing you guys a song. That's it. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to say a little something. I'm not going to talk for long. I'm Rachel's friend, Sara Elliott. We went to school together starting in middle school. I think started becoming friends then. And I'm actually really bad at these because I'm super emotional, so I'm going to keep it short. Rachel came to... Okay, so several years ago, Rachel and I came to Charleston together, and we went to Myrtle Beach and then came down to Charleston, and around that time, Rachel had received a Facebook message from a guy named Doug Higgins, and it was saying, like, you know, I met you that one time in American Eagle where I've worked with every Higgins team. Cheers. Yeah.
Except Doug.
Yes, every Higgins sibling except for Doug. So, Doug and Rachel met, I believe, for the first time there, and Ruth introduced the two of them, and so Doug ended up sending a message to Rachel and saying, you know, I like this kind of music, blah, 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 so you like the same kind of music, that sort of thing. So anyway, she received that message when we were in Charleston, and I just think it's really special that we're here today and that they started their beginning in Charleston, but now we're really starting a real beginning again here in Charleston. So
Cheers.
Rachel is one of the most beautiful friends I know inside and out, and so I'm very happy for her to find Doug, because Doug, you are so wonderful, and cheers to Rachel and Douglas and to Charleston. We're bringing them together. Cheers.
Salud.
Good speech.
You did good.
I already know that.
I also thought that I might cry like a baby and just die. So I'm going to wear glasses so you won't even know if I'm crying. I'm going to introduce myself. It's in the speech, Rachel. She's so controlling. I'm your big sister. Speech volume 1. Rachel is controlling. Just kidding. That's not my speech. Only nice things. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming all the way here to South Carolina to celebrate Rachel and Doug. I'm Amber, Rachel's younger sister. I've introduced myself now. After spending almost 23 years with Rachel, I have quite a bit of fond memories, so I thought I would share some with you guys today so you can get to know young Rachel a little bit better. I remember rollerblading around our basement with our other sister Elizabeth, dancing to ABBA to the sweet, sweet light of a disco ball.
Good times.
We were very cool.
Good times.
We still like ABBA though. We really liked Mamma Mia. I remember playing with dolls all of the time. We had Barbies and American Girl dolls and doll houses, and we still have all of them.
They're still in the
They're in my mom's basement. And so one day, Rachel and Doug, your children, will play with those same dolls, especially if they're boys. We will make that happen. I remember playing lots and lots of volleyball and basketball, and I especially remember Rachel wearing her hair in this gigantic bun right on top of her head. Right on top of her head. And now it's popular to do that. So Rachel she was very before her time. You don't really do that anymore, though. So I guess maybe she's over it. And she also really, really liked to hit volleyballs at our parents' roof to practice, which they loved. They loved it. And now that I own a home, I understand why they would love that so much. Roofs are really inexpensive. I remember taking Rachel to IUPUI when she started college for the first time, and I remember thinking it was so far away. It was like 25 minutes from my parents' house, but I was just so sad. And it was funny because then I went to IUPUI a year later. So we really were like really close together, and we actually lived together, which was quite a bit of fun. And it was in that apartment that we shared that I first heard of Doug. I also have a first Doug memory, just like you, Sarah. Sorry I'm shaking. It's like speech class. We were sitting on our couch, and Rachel turned her laptop to me, and she said, "Doesn't this guy look like Jack Johnson?" And you kind of do. You had hair then, though, and so you had like just a little more like Jack Johnson. But I was like, oh yeah, he kind of did. And you know, from that time on, I really don't have a lot of memories of you without Doug, but I have some memories of you and Doug. They're not bad. This is pretty PC. I remember Rachel only cleaning our apartment for Doug. And I was so glad when Doug would come over because Rachel is very sloppy And so she cleaned up really nice for Doug. She cleaned the whole apartment. It was great. So thank
She
you.
didn't know I was
She
messy
doesn't
for
do
like
that
years.
anymore.
No.
Like, I know. Or she's not messy. She's going to have to answer that.
Yeah.
I remember reading in the New Year's with Rachel and Doug, with lots and lots of Wii Sports and lots of Coors Light.
Yeah.
Rachel's very good at Wii Baseball. Actually a little disturbing. So good. And not too long ago, I remember Doug getting down on one knee and proposing to my big sister in Fountain Square. I'm going to start crying too. And now I have today to remember forever. I'm so happy to call you my Doug. My Doug. Sorry, my brother. Yeah, not my Doug. And I'm so happy that you two are married. And I'm very grateful to have been a part of everything today. So thank you and congratulations. Sorry.
I'm Doug's younger brother, obviously. We kind of look alike a little bit.
I do.
I'm best man, so now we're going to give a speech. So first of all, I want to start out with this, and it's kind of something my mom used to say to me and Doug growing up, and she really started to add to it in the past few years, probably in the past 5 years. She always used to tell me and Doug, one day we were going to meet a girl. She's going to be beautiful, smart, you know, the whole 9 yards, the mom speech that you give every kid. Then she always added, mainly in the past 5 years, she started this new saying where she would say, you know, Doug and David, I really want you to meet a girl. Preferably try and do that before you lose your hair. And make sure you marry them before you lose your hair, because otherwise it's going to be a little tough. Lucky for me, I still got mine, but Doug's kind of lost his. Lucky for Doug, though, you know, he met Rachel towards the start of losing his hair. And still doesn't have it, and you know, it's really gone well, obviously. So, but in all seriousness, so thank you everybody for coming. You know, it shows the love and it shows the support for these two, and I hope you guys recognize that. It's really good, and you know, these people that come to these types of things are here for you guys, and they'll always be here for you for the next many, many years down the road. You know, they show the love and things like that for you. So I'm not getting choked up by this. So we're going to give a little background knowledge on Doug. Growing up with him, I have quite a bit, but I won't share it all. Mainly, one thing I wanted to share with everyone is how the competitive nature Doug has is always shown, and it's shown in good ways. Partially at the fact that he literally trained for our golf outing yesterday that we had for months. Him and this guy over here literally trained for our golf outing so he could be first.
Come on.
But that 110% mentality and things like that Doug's always shown in his running and things like that has really spilled over into his relationship with Rachel. And you know, you really, if you look at these two, you see the effort that they both put into it, and that's the equation for a good marriage and for a good relationship. And I think it's something as a younger brother I can really see and I can grow off of, and it's nice to feed off of these two when we're together. You know, for my life, for my relationships and things like that in the future, and relationship now obviously, but it's just something to see, and it's nice to see because you know, growing up you always see your older brother as a role model to you. You know, always in high school I ran track because Doug ran track. I ran distance because Doug ran distance. I sucked, and so I quit. And I took on to soccer. But I always started with Doug, and it was nice growing up with an older brother, that is always so good at, you know, at just making things happen. And he's made today happen, and he's made this all happen. So that's a little about Doug, though. So now we're moving on to Rachel. I've actually known Rachel longer than Doug has.
Yes. I've known every Higgins longer than I've known
and it's
Doug.
because of American Eagle. I worked there too when I was younger, and I actually worked for American Eagle, and Rachel worked for Aerie, and she'd always bring in their little flyers to everyone, and it was so annoying, but Rachel would talk to every single person in there, and I think that's part of the reason why she's gotten along with us so well for the past few years, is because if anyone knows the Higgins family, we talk, and we're loud, and we're great, but so is she. And so that's why she's fit in with us so well over the years. And like everyone else said, Ruth is actually part of the reason why they became friends and why they are here now today. So that's all I got for you, Rachel. So just once again, thank you everyone for coming, and thank you for making this day happen for these two. And I actually wanted to end it with a quote. I have to read it because I forget it. Mom, you're going to kill me, but I have to read this. It's a send-off quote that we used to receive at church, and I wanted to kind of bless them with this send-off quote. So here it is. So may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rain fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you both in the palm of his hand. So, to Doug and Rachel.
Salute.
Cheers.
I didn't cry at all earlier.
Thank you, David. Thank you, honey.
Standard father of the bride here. Yeah, I typed it. So
I did too. It's okay.
So on behalf of the bride's mother, Laura, and myself, I would like to welcome all the friends and family who've traveled here to witness the marriage of Doug and Rachel. I find it reassuring that Doug and Rachel believe in something as traditional as marriage when so many things now are ephemeral and electric. For example, digitally downloaded files instead of vinyl albums or compact discs, emails instead of handwritten letters, text, tweets, social media site instead of picking up a phone and calling someone. I have another daughter who will be married by October 21st, and by then I will have two nieces who have also been married in this past year. So it's really nice to see that this generation still believes in something as old-fashioned and traditional as marriage. Many of my memories with Rachel during her childhood involve sporting events. This includes practicing, playing, watching sports. And this isn't really terribly surprising because when Laura and I were younger, we took Rachel to see her first football game when she was 6 months old by going to Lambeau Field in Green Bay and seeing the Colts play the Packers for a preseason game. A few months later, I can still remember, it was November, and they were playing the Jets, and Rachel did the... She saw an official on the TV do it, so she... So at that point in time, I was pretty sure she was going to be a football fan, and I think she still is. One of my fondest football memories have to be when Purdue played IU in the bucket game in 2000. After Purdue won that game, they were going to the Rose Bowl, and Rachel and I went down the field, went off the field. And as we were walking off the field, I was probably about as close to Drew Brees as I am to your father, Mike, and we got to see Drew Brees hit the big bass drum. Sorry, IU fans.
Spoiler up.
As a father, I hope that Laura and I have given Rachel the skills needed to go out into the world and be confident in her abilities and to be productive in whatever she endeavors. And I'm proud of her for teaching special needs students. It's a task that most of us couldn't think of undertaking. I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but and I'm definitely biased, but I still think we can all agree that Rachel is a very beautiful and talented young woman.
Yeah.
I left space for the applause.
Of course you did.
As a father, you always hope your daughter will find someone to love and respect and care for your daughter. I know Doug is that man, and he can even make Rachel a better person. I'm pleased to welcome him to our family. There's pause for that too. And this is proving it's water-based print, so it's smeary. Another traditional part of this speech is to give advice to the newly married couple. As a pediatrician who has seen many families in my practice throughout the years, I will not profess to know for sure what makes a successful marriage. But I know good communication, love, understanding, and devotion to each other are important. It helps to admit being wrong sometimes and not to be too stubborn. I think of a wedding as a happy event, which is not surprising since I first met my fabulous wife 26 years ago at a wedding in 1985. And wait a minute.
That's 28.
I met her. I met her, my fabulous wife of 26 years, at a wedding in 1985. We got married in 1987. The math works. It'll be 28 years on November 23rd of this year. Thank you very much. I still remember the first time I saw her, and I was smitten with her from the start, and I guess I still am. I hope for Doug and Rachel that this is the first of many happy days as a married couple. May they be blessed with happiness that grows along with the love that lasts. Finally, I'd like to propose a toast, and I don't have a glass to do that, but I'll take it. To the newly married couple, may they have health and happiness for the rest of their life.
Cheers.
it okay?
Very good.
Okay. Hold on. It's supposed to be on one side. But I made the font bigger, and it was supposed to be under 500 words. It's 520.